Cinema Sickness here with another weekly watch video for you, where we take a look at all the titles that I've recently been watching throughout the week, and I briefly discuss them. So like always, let's get right down to it and take a look at what I've been checking out. So the first title here I have to show you is The Crusades, or actually I believe it's just pronounced Crusades, no the. This is a very well done History Channel documentary starring Terry Jones from Monty Python fame. Very cool. All decked out there, looking like he just came off the set of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Although, oddly enough, no mention of Monty Python and the Holy Grail throughout the entire series, which I find very kind of odd. I expected him to mention at least once or twice. In fact, there were a couple times in this documentary. It's a 4-part documentary. There were a couple times in the documentary where he would say something again, and I quickly would think of like a Monty Python joke from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and he wouldn't even mention it. So I don't know what that was about. He did at one point mention a skit from the actual Monty Python series, but that was as far as any mention of Monty Python at all went. So it is what it is, but still a very well done documentary. And if you want to learn about a fucked up this time in history, holy hell, check this out. It is messed up. The Crusades, just beyond wow. It is one disturbing period in history. These Christians who just decided to go out and just kill basically non-Christians, really for just kind of like dominance and getting land grabs and stuff like that, ended up going out and killing a boatload of Christians. In fact, they killed more Christians than they actually did non-Christians. It was amazing. They'd go into a town and just kill everybody. I'm talking men, women, children, babies, dead. Entire towns, dead. And apparently pretty gruesome stuff, too. I mean, like, things like cannibalism and all kinds of crazy stuff like that going on. And the fact that these people they're killing were actually Christians. They weren't non-Christians. So it's insane. I was blown away. I just figured it was a bunch of Christians going out killing non-Christians, and that's what we were going to get here. It was crazy to find out how many Christian people they actually killed. They killed their own people, basically. So these people were just basically barbarians. I mean, whatever. On a mission from God, I have to disagree with that. These people were just on a mission just to kill anything that they found. They find something, they wiped it off the face of the planet. That was their goal. It was crazy. So really well done documentary. Definitely check this one out if you just want to hear about a really messed up period in time, some messed up history. This is something to definitely check out. Very well done too. I mean, Terry Jones does a great job in it. Adds some little comedic bits here and there and makes it entertaining. I mean, you're learning, but you're being very entertained at the same time. So very well done, very messed up, but definitely a great documentary. So the next title I checked out was Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which is actually the second time I've seen this movie. However, first time I've seen it in high definition. Before I bought the Blu-ray, I owned it on DVD. So I definitely wanted to rewatch in high definition, and worth it. If you've seen this movie, you know what I'm talking about. All kinds of great graphics and bright colors. This is definitely a movie to watch in high definition. It certainly takes advantage of the amazingly crisp and clear picture quality. And I love this movie. It's just a lot of fun. It's funny. It's extremely enjoyable. If you're into video games, you're going to enjoy this one. It's just a really fun, wacky movie. It's the whole point. It's wacky. It's Scott Pilgrim. He finds this girl he starts dating, and now he has to defeat all her ex boyfriends and girlfriends. He's just in this battle to defeat them all. And it's very amusing. It's very well put together. It's just fun. It's a really fun movie. It's a great way to explain it. Watching him have to battle these people and him just being thrust into this. I mean, he didn't know this was going to happen. All of a sudden, he just had to start battling people and watching them kick their ass. Full of great music too. Sex Bob-omb, I love Sex Bob-omb. They're a fantastic band in this movie. Their music is just great. So it's full of great music, full of great action, full of great comedy. Just amazing from start to finish. Just a really, really fun movie. I mean, it's wacky, it's crazy, but it's a lot of fun. So Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Check this one out. If you just want to see something fun, amazing, wacky, crazy, just fun. That's the best way to describe this movie. A lot of fun. If you like fun, see this. It's great. Then I watched some Biography channel documentaries. First one here being Paul Revere, The Midnight Rider. Very well done. Interesting documentary about Paul Revere. Really enjoyed this one because really when it came to Paul Revere, really all I knew about him was his Midnight Ride, which is kind of BS anyway, because history, I mean, I remember even learning in school, you learn about Paul Revere's Midnight Ride, and they basically make it look like he did everything. You know, the redcoats are coming, the redcoats, you know, that it was him alone. It wasn't. He wrote a very little bit, and there were like 20 other people writing too. There were a lot of people letting everybody know that the British were invading. I mean, it wasn't just him, but a very interesting documentary because you learn about from his birth to his death. So his Midnight Ride's a very small part of his life, and it's very interesting to learn about everything that he did within his life and all the great businesses he started up. He was a very, very good businessman and started a lot of really interesting businesses throughout his life. And you know, there's a lot of stuff today you'll see his name on, like bells and things like that. So very interesting documentary. If you have any interest in learning about Paul Revere whatsoever, this is one to check out. And then since I watched that biography documentary, decided to watch the biography documentary of Johnny Depp, which was all right. And I say it was all right because at first I thought it was pretty well done until I went onto Biography Channel's website and I was looking around on there and I came across like a little like 5-minute like quick biography on Johnny Depp, and I just clicked on it and watched it, and there was a lot of stuff it seemed that they skipped over in this documentary that they mentioned in like that 5-minute documentary. All kinds of things where I'm like, what? They never said that in this documentary. Why would they leave that out? Why would they put in this little 5-minute, you know, quick documentary and completely leave it out in this 50-minute documentary, almost an hour-long documentary with stuff left out? I didn't really understand that. It seemed kind of weird. But regardless, interesting documentary. It's just about Johnny Depp. If that intrigues you, it's worth seeing, but it's nothing amazing. It's not like I learned anything overly crazy. I mean, yes, I learned some stuff about him I didn't know before, but I wouldn't say this is anything, again, overly amazing. It's just an all-right documentary about Johnny Depp. If you have any interest in that, sure, check it out, but it's nothing you need to see. You're not going to be blown away by any information you're going to find out in this documentary. Then I watched a great documentary, and that was a great movie, and that was Defending Your Life. Wow, with all the documentaries I just watched, I'm getting a little crazy. Defending Your Life. Great movie. Really, really wanted to check this one out because of Albert Brooks. Love Albert Brooks. Meryl Streep, of course, is a plus too, and they are both absolutely fantastic in this one. And it's a very interesting movie about what happens when you die. You don't go to a heaven or a hell. You basically die and go to this sort of like waiting area. Like it's Judgment City. It's where they judge you. They judge your life, and your life's really based on fear. If you kind of overcome fear, what happens is you move on. They don't necessarily say where you go, but you just move on to something bigger and better, and you start using more of your brain and evolving. Basically, you evolve into something better. I guess you're still a human because there's humans in here who have evolved. You're still just a normal human being, but you evolve and you just move on. Whereas if you haven't overcome your fear while you were staying on Earth, you have to relive your life over again. You don't relive the same life over again. They just basically, you know, reincarnate you into another life. And you have to live a whole other life not knowing that your other lives ever existed, and you have to basically overcome fear. And again, once you overcome fear, you get to then move on. So very interesting take on death. And of course, Meryl Streep's going to move on. Albert Brooks isn't, but they fall in love. And then at the end, love kind of makes Albert Brooks overcome his fear, and they both get to move on together. So, good movie. I really enjoy this one. It's funny. It's interesting. It really interested me because I've never seen, it's the first time I've ever seen kind of this idea on death. It was very interesting for that. But like I said, funny movie as well. Great actors, great movie. See this one. And then another movie I would definitely say see, and I love this movie even more the second time around, and that is The World's End. I ended up watching this movie not too long ago, and then the wife was kind of mad at me because she's like, I wanted to see it too. And I was like, no problem, I'll watch it again. So the wife and I sat down, watched it. She enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it even more the second time. This is one of those movies where I say, if you've seen it, you saw it the first time, you thought, it was all right, or maybe you just weren't the biggest fan of it, watch it again, because the first time, I mean, I would still say this is the weakest out of all three movies, out of, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End. I'd say World's End's still the weakest, but I enjoyed this movie a hell of a lot more the second time around. The first time I saw it, I was just kind of like, it was all right. I enjoyed it, I liked it, I would certainly recommend it, but I wasn't like blown away by it, again, until I watched it the second time, and I started picking up more on jokes and little things throughout the movie. There are all kinds of, it's typical for a movie like this. It was the same thing with Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead. There's a lot of little tiny things in it that you're going to miss the first time around. A lot of little jokes and little just things they throw in the movie that you're not going to notice until you've seen it a second, third, fourth, fifth time. You're going to start picking up all these things. Every time you watch it, you're going to see something you didn't see before. And that's the same way The World's End is. So the second time watching it, I love the movie even more. And it's gotten to the point now where I'm just, I mean, yes, the second time watching this has made me a huge fan of this movie. So I really enjoy this one now. And I'm looking forward to watching it over and over and over again. I'm going to have just marathons of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and World's End. I really do enjoy this movie now. Again, the second time watching it really wrote me in. And I would say if you have seen this movie once before and you just weren't maybe the biggest fan of it, watch it a second time. You'll probably like it a bit more. You're going to realize all kinds of things you missed out on the first time. Definitely worth checking out at least for a second time. And I now officially really enjoy this movie. I don't necessarily get all the bad flack for it. Again, I think it's just because maybe people only did see it once and maybe we're, I don't know, maybe just weren't all that into it the first time they saw it. I don't know, but definitely check the movie out a second time. If you didn't really care for it all that much the first time, definitely worth seeing again. Love the movie. Highly recommend it. Now, this is something I was really looking forward to checking out. I had heard such good things about this, plus it stars my all-time favorite actor, and that is John Adams, Paul Giamatti. I just big fan of Paul Giamatti. Again, he's my all-time favorite actor of all time. I love him. So I definitely wanted to see this. Just got my hands on this somewhat recently and finally sat down and watched it. And it was just as amazing as I had always heard. I remember when this was on TV, everybody was talking about it when this miniseries was on. Everybody was saying how amazing it was, and I completely understand them now. This was an absolutely fantastic, I don't want to say it was a documentary, but a mini-series on the life of John Adams. Very interesting just to learn about his entire life. I mean, it starts out right when, right before like the Revolutionary War was going to begin, and he's a lawyer and ends up having to defend a British soldier, and it's very interesting to watch him like just, I mean, okay. I do want to state the fact that while watching this, I was thinking to myself, I wonder how much is, I mean, I'm sure this is all truthful to some extent, but I wonder if there are some things that are a bit embellished, maybe that didn't happen, maybe that they just kind of like threw in. I don't know. I mean, there's always liberties taken when you're watching, a mini-series or a movie or something like that. There's always, the writer and director will always put some things that maybe weren't quite the truth. I don't know, but it is interesting to see him defend the soldier, really sticking up for, sticking up for American rights. And, the fact that, yes, this soldier, I might not like him because we're not the biggest fan of the Brits right now, but he still has rights. He still has his English rights, and he still needs to have a fair trial. So he defends them, and that's very interesting. I really enjoyed that. And then just watching his whole life, go through the Revolutionary War, and then, everything from being on the Continental Congress to being a president, and then his life after that, his wife and his daughter passing away and all that stuff, and just very, very, very interesting. I went through this one. I watched this within 2 days. I marathoned it. I sat down and couldn't stop watching. I was finding myself up to like 5 o'clock in the morning watching. It would be getting late, and I'd be like, at the end of an episode, I'd be like, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep seeing what's happening. I'm so intrigued and just interested in this story. It was so well done and so interesting. And of course, the fact that Paul Giamatti is just fantastic in it, like he always is, and everything he does. This was a great watch. Just, I cannot recommend this enough. I'm sure you've all heard good things. Again, when this was on HBO, everybody and their mom was saying how amazing this was, and they were right. So check out John Adams. If you're a history buff or not, doesn't matter. It's just a very well done series and something you have to see. Loved it. Will be watching it again. It's amazing. Another movie I wasn't too thrilled about. Picked this one up as a blind buy. I just thought, looked kind of interesting. Got it for, I think, like $3 at a Goodwill. Figured what the hell that is. Stranded, which Kristen Slater here is pretty much who sold me on this one. And in the end, it was just all right. I really won't recommend this one. It's all about this base on the moon, and some meteors crash down and destroy it, and they get stranded on this in this base. And of course, on the crater, there's an alien kind of life form, these like spores, and then it's kind of dumb. Like there's so many parts of this movie where it's so cliche, the things that happen. It's like it's sci-fi horror cliche over and over and over again. In fact, I was reading some reviews on this, and people were just comparing it to Aliens, and just saying, wow, what a, you know, amazing Aliens ripoff. And it is an Aliens ripoff. But it's, you know, things like the scientists who just, you know, even though they're all gonna like die, they need to figure out, you know, their oxygen's leaving the station. They need to figure out how to get more oxygen and conserve their oxygen. They need to figure out all this stuff. I mean, they just have these meteors crash down. They're stranded on this base. How are they gonna get off? A rescue ship won't be coming for, like, I think they said it's gonna take like a couple of weeks for this rescue ship to get to them, and they're gonna die in like a couple of hours. You know, what's gonna happen? Well, of course, the scientists, they have to study this rock because there might be something on it. They got to know what this is all about. Is there spores on it? Well, we gotta study this. It's an amazing discovery, and yes, it is. I mean, to find alien life is pretty damn amazing. But you might want to save your ass first and then check out the alien life, because if you don't save yourself, then who's going to know about this alien life? It kind of seems pointless. But anyway, so there's that, and then this one time, this girl, like, this one of the scientists cuts her thumb open, and, you know, the spores get in there. It's like, you know, but she hides it. She cuts her thumb. She's like, and, you know, like, that didn't happen. And, you know, she looks over to the other scientist to make sure he didn't see it happen, and then keeps working. It's like, you're a scientist. You should know better. If you cut your finger open with alien spores around, you might want to get checked out. Then, of course, the scientist lady who did cut her finger open, she's like freaking out all the time. Like, Christian Slater wants to quarantine her because he's all big into following the rules, so he wants to quarantine her and be like, no, you got to stay in this room, you got to stay in quarantine. You've been affected. You know, we don't know what's going to happen to you. And she's, of course, you know, like flipping out, saying, no, you can't do this to me, and I want to get out of here, and you can't quarantine me. It's like, you're a scientist. Apparently the dumbest scientist in the world. You should know if you've been affected by alien life, maybe you should be quarantined. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? And sure enough, things go incredibly wrong. Of course, there's a accelerated pregnancy, again, very similar to, you know, and of course it bursts out, or kind of like, well, comes out, or like actually like a real birth, but still, you know, something growing inside her comes out, again, kind of like aliens. And now there's this base with an alien running around, and it's just an Aliens ripoff. And again, it's just one stupid person after another. Everybody in this movie just did like the dumbest shit. I mean, Christian Slater was the only kind of person who was kind of not dumb, although he did some stupid stuff too. So in the end, it's just a bunch of dumb people, and in a shitty situation that's just an Aliens ripoff. So in the end, I would say just, it's not really that good. It's nothing you need to see. Just go watch the Alien franchise. Go watch Alien. It's amazing. Go watch go watch Aliens movies. They're great. You don't need to see Stranded. Then I checked out a movie that a lot of people seem to not like. When I mentioned I was watching this, a lot of people said they didn't like it, but I thought it was pretty good, and that is Mission. I actually enjoyed this movie. Maybe people were thinking it was going to be a lot more funnier, and that's what I'm thinking. I would assume, you know, Paul Rudd, Tina Fey. I'm thinking people were thinking wacky comedy. That's not really what we get here, but it's more of like a feel-good kind of comedy about these two characters and, you know, all the kind of stuff they're going through, and this kid who wants to get into a prestigious college, and Tina Fey, you know, kind of thinking that maybe it's this kid is her son, and helping him get in, and there's all, you know, basically her kind of realizing that this college is bullshit, and the fact that the way they let people in, always people apply, and they kind of just let in like the best people, which she kind of is all about. She's an admissions office, you know, admissions person, but then realizes that maybe that's kind of fucked up. Maybe we should let people in. Maybe we should give people a chance. Maybe not everybody who we let in should be like the best of the best. Maybe we need to let in people who, you know, might not be perfect, but seem to really care and really want to try. Why don't we at least let those people in and kind of learn sort of a lesson? So in the end, it's not a super funny, you know, romantic comedy or anything like that, but it does have its funny moments. It isn't a very enjoyable story, and I liked it. I would say check this one out. I mean, you're not going to be cracking up laughing the whole time. There are some funny moments, but it's not a laugh riot. But that's not, I mean, don't go into expecting that. Expecting just a good, feel-good movie with some, you know, great message and just great characters and just a really well-done story. So Mission, I liked it. Check it out. And now this is one I definitely enjoyed. This, definitely a cheese fest movie. If you like them cheesy, see this, and that is Rats, Night of Terror. This is amazing. This is a Bruno Mattei film. It's a Italian film, so it's all dubbed in English, which just adds to the hilarity. And I should have actually waited. I think this I'm not mistaken, this takes place in 2015. So I really should have waited till next year to watch this. But apparently there's a bomb dropped and it just destroyed like everything. And now there's kind of like few people still left on Earth and all kind of like in groups and gangs. Well, it's this gang and they go into this building and they find food and supplies and stuff like that. And then they end up finding all these rats. And apparently the rats are kind of like mutated and they're attacking. And it's just these people just being mauled by rats and getting attacked by rats. And then the really amusing, if you've seen this movie that I'm talking about, kind of amusing sort of, kind of like Planet of the Apes sort of twist ending at the end. Really enjoyed it. So it's goofy. It's ridiculous. It's just, it's nonsense. It's, again, this gang of people who are roaming around this abandoned Earth because of this bomb that was dropped and being attacked by like these rats, these killer rats. See the movie. Again, if you like them cheesy, check this one out. Again, it's an Italian film, all dubbed in English, so the English dubbing just adds to the hilarity because there's some very funny moments where it's just like, wow, what bad dubbing. Just horrible dubbing at times. But again, I was cracking up laughing. I loved it. So this movie is a lot of fun. If a ridiculous, cheesy movie, if a really bad movie, but so bad it's good, kind of thing doesn't really work for you, stay away. But if you like those types of things, see Rats, Night of Terror. It's worth checking out. Very enjoyable. So there you go, guys. That is it. That's everything that I've recently been watching. A lot of great stuff there. I'm thinking I'm pretty much, yeah, I'm recommending everything here. Everything except for Stranded. I'd say Stranded is one that I would say if you really want to see, check it out. I didn't hate Stranded. It kept me entertained, and I was like, all right, I saw it. It was whatever. I mean, I will never watch it again. I highly doubt I'll ever check that movie out again. But I would say if like you really want to see it, sure, but you don't need to. You can stay away. But everything else, I mean, the documentaries I watched all were decent. Scott Pilgrim's amazing. See that. Defending Your Life, good, feel-good comedy. Really enjoyed it. The World's End, check it out again. If you've only seen it once, see it again. I really enjoyed it the second time around. John Adams, one of the best miniseries I've ever seen in my entire life. Admission, a lot of people didn't seem to like it, but I did. Thought it was a decent, feel-good romantic comedy. And Rats, ridiculous, but that's why I absolutely loved it. So, see them all. Again, Stranded, use your judgment. If you want to see it, see it. If you don't. So anyway, guys, that's it. So like I always say, if you like this video, please give me a like. If you're not already subbed, please do. And if you're not already over at cinemasickness.com, head on over there, check it out. There's a lot more to see there than just these videos. All kinds of things going on, like deals and information on deals and whatnot going on over there. Pretty much anything Cinema Sickness related is there. And while you're there, be sure to check out Team Sickness. A lot going on by those guys as well. All kinds of great videos and stuff and reviews and whatnot going on with them. And of course, be sure to click on the shop tab there and purchase yourself a Cinema Sickness sticker and or a Cinema Sickness button. They're dirt cheap, and I would certainly appreciate the support. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.